What is up, my YouTubers, and Happy New Year. For those of you who celebrated New Year's, I hope you had a happy one. I hope it was safe. I hope you did something fun or relaxing. And this is the very first video of the year, so yay, go me. So any video that I upload after or before this one or after this one, some of them are from last year, which I will put in the blog, and then this is officially the very first video of 2023. It is my postpartum week 5 video / baby talk, so yay, go me. Alright, I wanted to apologize in advance that if I sound loopy or whatever, I am on new mommy tired, not the new mommy, not the pregnancy tired, not the new mommy tired of me being discharged and pumping every 3 hours. This is like baby's home and I forgot about the newborn stage tired, so yay. Alright, so we're going to backtrack. Let's fast forward to New Year's Eve. So Jim had off on New Year's Eve. So we went to the hospital to spend New Year's Eve with the babies. I knew I was going to spend the night, and I didn't fully know why I had to. Not like me saying I had to, but like nurses telling me I had to. Because Trenton came home yesterday, because today is Monday, January 2nd. Yesterday was New Year's Day. So they wanted me to spend the night to make sure that I had my first full night with him, I guess, in the room with him. So we couldn't get like one of the family rooms. I had to stay in the room with Trenton. And they call it nesting, which is weird. I'm so used to nesting being like you get everything clean and organized in your house. But they call it nesting, so I don't know. So we got there to the hospital, and we were going back and forth from the babies, from his room to the girls' room. The nurse that was watching over the babies, no offense to her. And if you guys have these nurses, or if you have dealt with one of these nurses, you would understand. The old school nurses that are very by the book. And when I say that, I mean like very by the book. They are set on a schedule. They have to do it this way. You as a mother or father have to do it their way, by the book, because when you have triplets, you know, it's going to be hard. It's going to be overwhelming. And they make it, I understand the scheduling. You have to stick to a schedule, especially with the girls, because they are on feeding tubes still. They can take the bottle, but sometimes when I'm there, I try to breastfeed them. So they go from breast to bottle or tube. It depends on how tired they get, because they intermix the bottle with the tube. Sometimes they do the bottle feeding, then the next feed they do the tube feed. So it just depends, because they don't want to overwhelm their system with doing bottles. This is just how the hospital works. I can't explain it. I don't know if it's a preemie thing. I don't know if it's a newborn thing. Because when they explained that to me a while back, I was like, well, if they were a normal baby, they'd be bottle fed or breastfed every so many hours. So, but since they're so tiny, they don't want to overwhelm their system. I don't know. Anyways, so this nurse, though, I'm not going to get into too many details, but we'll just say that she was very by the book. She was not too personalized. As soon as we got there, she was like, oh, well, I'm glad that you're here because we need to do this, this, and this. And I'm like, dude, I just got here. Like, let me set my stuff down. And I knew that the babies need to start being fed, and she wanted to be on a schedule, and she didn't want to do it because it's the parent's job. I get that. It's the parent's job to feed the babies. It's not the nurse's job. She's just there to supervise and do like the certain care time. So like when I got there, I was like hit with this, like, oh my God, you know, like let's go. And I'm like, dude, like, you know, chill. Because up until yesterday, we've had nurses that, you know, would just do it. Because they knew that we would come in, we'd set our stuff down. I would normally go get water. I'd say hi to the nurse, and I'd say, I'm going to go get some water. And they were fine with that. They were like, okay, well, do you want to, then they'd ask, do you want to feed them? And I always say yes, if I, you know, but sometimes I'd either miss the girls' feedings, one of the girls' feedings, or all 3 babies' feedings. Trenton on Saturday was on demand feed, which is basically newborn feeding schedule, where he didn't have any lines in him. He wasn't going to be fed by the nurses unless we weren't there, of course. And he was eating, you know, when he wanted to be fed. So it's 2 hours to 4 hours, depending on what he wanted. Old nurse, we're going to call her old nurse. can't remember. I'm not going to say her name. We'll just put it that way. I do remember her name. I'm not going to say her name. Book nurse. We'll call her book nurse, not old nurse, because she wasn't old. But I mean, she was old, but she wasn't like old, if that makes sense. She was just book nurse. So, she was telling me that he needs to be fed every, so many hours, because it went this Amelia first, Isabel second, and then Trenton. And since he was on demand, sometimes he would want to be fed when Amelia wanted to be fed, even though he just ate. So it was, I mean, that's what I mean by on demand. And I get the fact that she was trying to tell me, well, with triplets, if one's hungry and the other's hungry, you had to figure out your time management. Well, one, you're not going to feed them one at a time. You're going to try and feed two at a time or all three at a time. Common sense. She was telling me that, well, you have to do one for this long, one for this long. I'm like, no, you don't. You do you do either two at a time or all three at a time. That way they're all on the same schedule. You're not going to sit there and take an hour and a half, give or take, out of your day. Then you would never sleep for a mother. Then she went on to tell me that I needed help. The reason why I say this is because as soon as I got settled in and did what she wanted me to do, which I do get, at one point Jim left to go get Starbucks because we had a gift card from Santa for Starbucks. So and Starbucks was like literally right across the street from the hospital. So all you had to do is U-turn and then U-turn back into the hospital. I mean, literally, it was right across the street from the hospital. Well, he went to go get Starbucks, and she was furious that he left. I'm like, okay, one, he's allowed to leave, okay? And then she like went on to say, well, is he going to be home to help? I'm like, yes, he's going to be home to help. And two, he works like 50 hours a week. So she's like, oh, well, do you have help? Because you need help. You can do all three babies at your... I'm like, okay, this is where I got pissed off. Because no nurse ever should say, you cannot do this by yourself. And she literally said, you can't do this by yourself. Those exact words. She did not say, you may not be able to do this by yourself, so you need help. She said, you can't do this. Okay, that's rude. That is very discouraging for any new mother. Telling them that they can't do something, because I'm glad I'm a mother. I'm glad I'm not a first-time mother, because if I would have heard that, I would have instantly burst out crying and felt like, like a failure right away. Because I already have insecurities as a mom, like, already. I'm going to start crying. So, and when she said that, I kind of knew. I was like, that was kind of, and I heard her, and I didn't take it personal. Thank God I didn't take it personal. So, basically, the things that she was saying was pissing me off. The way she was phrasing things was basically making it sound like Jim was a deadbeat dad. And I'm like, he's not. I mean, like, one, I kept telling her, I said, well, I do have a neighbor who could come over to help. Two, my mom can come over sometimes if she's available. And she's like, well, you can't do this by yourself. I mean, triplets are a lot. You're gonna need help. You're gonna have to, when you're feeding one, somebody else can be feeding this one and then this one. I'm like, people have multiple babies at home by themselves all the time. And she's just, okay, let me phrase this way. If you hear squeaking in the background, Blaze, of course, every time I record, decides that he wants to play. The reason why she was so harsh, very assertive, because I'm pretty sure she's seen a lot of parents who are first-time parents, or addict parents, or alcoholic parents, or just parents who are just completely clueless. And even though I've told her multiple times that me and Jim both have kids, though this is not our first rodeo, she was like, well, triplets is different. No shit, Sherlock. I mean, it's one baby plus two. It's not going to be easy. Are you flipping kidding me? I mean, did I say at any point that having triplets was going to be easy? No. Do I look like I'm stupid to think that triplets is going to be easy? No. But it was just the way she was just... So I was complaining to Jim. Long story short, he went to the care coordinator, who was like, he said that she was her boss. She wasn't really her boss. She was just a care coordinator. She's the one who, kind of like a boss, but the charge nurse is the boss. But anyways, please get that off my foot. Sorry, we'll get it. Sorry. He's trying to chew a toy on my foot, and it was driving me nuts. Okay, so care coordinator, I told Jim not to say anything because I was complaining, yes. She was upsetting me, yes. But I kind of had to think about it and realize that she does things this way, and she's just very by the book. She's very old school. She's stuck in like this time era, and she's used to seeing parents who are this way, So I just had to kind of brush it off. When the care coordinator came to talk to me, I explained to her how I took things, the way she was phrasing things, and everything else, and we got to talking. So everything got resolved. And then the book nurse came back and said she apologized, and I explained to her why, blah, 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 and she explained herself. And it doesn't mean that we got along. Oh, no, but she was a little bit more helpful, I guess. She didn't do the book thing. But yeah, minus that drama. So we ended up, Jim went home to feed the pets, and then she was pissed off about that again because she was like, oh, well, is he coming back? And I'm like, I don't know if he's coming back because he has to work in the morning. And she's like, well, he has to come back to help you because when you're at home, he has to, help. And I'm like, well, one, we're not at home. I didn't tell her this, but I was like, one, we're not at home. And two, all three of them are not coming home right now. We're having Trenton come home first. And then when all three of them are home, then we will figure it out. It's not the crisis that she was making it out to be. It was like, oh my gosh, she was freaking out. So Jim ended up coming back. We ended up spending the night. I didn't get much sleep because when you're in the nesting phase of the hospital, the nurses basically don't do anything. They might come in to check up on how the feedings and stuff are going and to make sure you're doing like the temperatures correctly. And maybe to check their line, like their EK, whatever their sticker lines are. I can't remember what they're all for, like their heart monitor, blood pressure thing, whatever. But yeah, so I didn't get much sleep Saturday night, obviously, because I was up with him. I think I got like 3.5 hours of sleep on Saturday night. And then, so Sunday, Jim left for work, and then my mom came. Luckily, we did find out that my mom could, since she is going to be watching the babies, because I was getting upset because I was like, well, he can't come back to the hospital, and I still have to go back to the hospital to feed the girls. So we were trying to coordinate. In my head, I just busted out crying before I went to the hospital. I think this is Friday night, I busted out crying because I was like, how am I going to figure out where to leave Trenton at when Jim's at work? I was like, well, I have to leave him with Mom. And so luckily Mom got to come into the NICU and see the babies and help out. As soon as Mom got there on Sunday, the book nurse was back. Oh, I do not like that nurse at all. I really don't. She must have forgot everything about Saturday. About the conversation, about everything. Because as soon as my mom walked in the door, she goes, oh, good, Grandma's here. So you're going to feed the girls because she has to feed Trenton. And my mom's like, wait, what? Like, she literally just walked in the door, and she goes, because they're like due to be fed in 5 minutes. And you know what? You're getting a crash course on how to do this and this and this. As if my mom's never had grandkids. Like, because every time, before every feed with your babies, that you have to take a temperature. And I kind of understand why, but whatever. When you're at home, you're not going to do that. I mean, if you do that at home, great. But when you're at home, you're not going to take their temperature before they eat every time. I don't know if you're supposed to, but honestly, no. I mean, he has a pediatrician's appointment tomorrow, so I can ask them. Now, if they want me to take the temperature before every feeding, I probably won't remember to. But that's why they train you, I guess, at the hospital to do that. But two, clearly I can see that he's fine. I mean, not see, but right now I'm in the living room. He's in his bassinet in the bedroom with Daddy, and I can hear him if any. Not that Daddy can't hear him, it's just the fact that if I need to breastfeed him, I can run him back in there. So anyways, so yeah, Mom got bombarded right away with book nurse, and Mom was like, wait, what? So no, I was in the girls' room, and I was going to feed the girls, and then she was going to go feed Trenton. Either way, my mom got hit with, you had to feed one of the babies. And then my mom had to watch the safety videos. Oh yeah, these safety videos. There's 3 DVDs that we had to watch. It's basically how to be a parent. It had nothing to do with the NICU. These are videos that you would watch if you take like a Lamaze class or like a car safety class. It teaches you like if your baby's choking, how to breastfeed, how to warm up breast milk, sleep habits. If you have pets, like how to keep your pets away, how to sterilize nipples, like all the common sense things, basically. The follow-up appointments afterwards, diaper habits, CPR, how to put in the car seat, like it's all those. Okay, basically, it's how to be a parent, and it is a requirement if the babies are in the NICU, no matter how many babies you have. It is a requirement to watch all 3 DVDs before your baby comes home. So even though obviously me and Jim are parents, and these are the first kids that I've had that I've never taken like a Lamaze class or a car safety class, just because we didn't have time and we didn't have a car to do that. Um, so the DVDs were kind of stupid. I mean, honestly, they're great for first time parents. They desperately need to be updated because they're stuck in like the 80s, if that makes sense. They're very staged and they're very boring. So they're not like, they're informative. And I hate those videos where they're too informative and not very engaging, because you tend to space off and not like watch or listen to the DVD then. It's like being back in grade school. In school where you put one of those videos in and you're like, okay, I'm going to space off. But anyways, so my mom had to watch those before she, like, whatever. Mom and her got to talking while I was doing one of the babies. I don't remember which room I was in, but she understood what I was telling her about. She's book nurse and she's very like this. And Mom's like, oh my God, yeah. And then I can tell why she was happy my mom was there. And I could tell the judgment with her and my mom. Not my mom judging me, but like her judging me and my mom, if that makes sense. Like, she probably thinks that because I told her I have ADHD, and she probably thinks, oh, this poor child, she's so distracted, she's so all over the place, she has no focus, she can't do this or that, and she's probably going to end up leaving the baby on the bed and it's going to roll off and, like, whatever. It's like, okay, I've told you a billion times that I have kids. I so am focused on my kids. I make sure to cradle their neck constantly. If I put them on my shoulder, they're not bobbleheading, going like all like this, I make sure that they're secure. I'm a very overprotective mother. Like, and I know that they can't see that. And so I felt very judged. Like, I've been asked in the past if I'm an ex-addict or if I've ever been on drugs, because of the way I'm just so spacey and loopy. And I mean, you guys have seen my vlogs. I mean, I'm so like this. It's ADHD. And then when I lose sleep, I still sound like I'm running on something. Speaking of that, I need coffee. But it's like, no, I'm not on drugs. I'm not an addict. And when it's adrenaline, it's new mommy phase where I'm super excited. Sometimes it's the coffee. Sometimes, like today, it's going to be the coffee. But yeah. So, long story short, we got all this stuff done, and hold on. That was my alarm clock for pumping. I have to pump soon, but I'll probably wait another hour because Trenton has to eat in an hour. So, because it's 10 a.m. now. So, I had my alarm clock set to every 3 hours, but Trenton kind of missed his 7 o'clock feeding. No, he's on his own time frame, so I'm trying to keep up with his time frame, and I set my alarm clock to his time frame, if that makes sense. So, like, he just ate at 8 a.m., so I'm trying to keep up every 3 hours. They do not. Every 3 hours is a great time limit for infants. Do not let them go over 4 hours at all. I mean, when they're this little, especially when they're preemies, don't let them go over 4 hours. usually by 3.5 hours, he's well, like getting really, really hungry. So he hasn't even hit 4 hours, which is great. Usually at the 3 hour mark, I try to get him awake. I automatically go ahead and change his diaper, because by the time I change his diaper, he's usually waking up. We'll get there. So if I repeat that in about 10 minutes, I apologize. Okay, so after my mom watched the videos, we had to get our discharge papers for Trenton. And I swear to God, this book nurse, she was trying to shove us out of the door. Like, she was like, okay, like, we're going to do this, this, and this. We're going to get you out of here. And we asked if we can go take him into the girls' room and just hang out with them for a few hours. I understand that she was trying to shove us out of the room because maybe somebody needed that room. That's not the problem. I understand that. If another baby and mom or family needed that room, that's fine. I don't mind that. It's the fact that she was like, no, you can't go and hang out with the girls, because then they're going to want to eat, and then he's going to want to eat, and that's going to throw off everybody's schedule, blah, 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 blah. And we want to get you home so you can practice getting in your routine at home. And it's like, what difference does it make? Every single nurse, she's the only one. They were in there for like, what, a little over a month? They were born on the 29th. So yeah, pretty much a month. Every single nurse in there said, yes, when no matter who's discharged, you can take that baby into the other baby's room and hang out. Let's say Isabel got discharged first. I could have kept her at the hospital, in that room, in that bed, with her sister, and then taken her in with Trenton if I wanted to. I could have hung out there as long as possible. My idea was to hang out there for a few more hours, get one more feeding schedule in just so the girls can have more breast milk, and then go home. But she was like, no, you need to go home right now and get in a routine. That was rude. That was rude. No nurse should ever shove a patient out the door. I understand that we should go home and get in a routine, but don't shove a parent out the door. That was rude. So anyways, we got loaded up in the car seat base. That was fun. I thought I had it incorrectly and I ended up not, so I had to flip it around, which that was like 5 seconds. That was 5 seconds, but, we got home. He is great. He was pretty much out. I pumped, I fed him in the living room for a few hours. My mom hung out here until Jim had to get off work. And then, yeah, so last night was the first night with him at home. It was so nice to not hear the beeping going off if he shifts and he moves one of his little sticky, like, line thingies for his blood pressure or whatever. It was so nice to be able to change him without all the cords on him. Oh, it was so nice. And he did have 2 poopy diapers. I was hoping he would wait to poop and then Jim would change him. Jim has plenty of time to change poopy diapers. But I was hoping that the first couple poopy diapers at home Jim can change, but it's whatever. So last night, of course, getting up so many hours, I'm running on, I think, 4 hours of sleep from last night. So 7.5 hours, 7 hours of sleep in the past 2 nights, which isn't bad, which is actually pretty decent. So this morning I got up. Now this is where my postpartum part is. That's the baby part. This is where the postpartum care comes in. Now, I'm not saying I'm superhuman. I know this is going to change as soon as more than one baby comes home. But as of this morning, since he woke up at 8 and wanted to, well, he was stirring around 8 o'clock because he ate at 5 or 5:30. So I knew about 8 o'clock was about his time. If he didn't get up by then, I would definitely going to wake him up by 8:30. So changed his diaper. He had changed his diaper. It was just pee. Oh, by the way, I do have, they give you sheets of like poop, pee, breast, bottle, and temperature on them at my hospital when I came home. I'll probably ask for more tomorrow when I go to the hospital, just so I have some. Hopefully book nurse is not there. If she is, I'll just have to keep my mouth shut and deal with it because, oh, I swear to God, she is so impersonable. And she just makes the whole experience there, not happy. It's like not family time when she's there. She's just too schedules, and it's like, you can't enjoy your kids when she's there. I don't know. That's just me. I know it sounds really mean, and I know I'm probably making her sound really, really horrible, but if you have ever dealt with a nurse like that, you understand. And I'm actually not even getting into like full on details. Those are just the surface. Anyways, yeah. So this morning, got up at 8, couldn't get back to sleep. So I was like, well, I will eat cereal because I need to eat something. Because yesterday, the only thing I ate was a Jimmy Dean spicy verde breakfast bowl at like 4 p.m. Oh yeah, it took me till 4 p.m. to eat. I know. And then I made burgers and I had one cheeseburger. So yeah, I had a breakfast bowl, like this big, probably about the size of my head, and a cheeseburger. So there's that. It's not because I forgot to eat, it's just because I was doing so much. And if you were a mom or dad, single or family, you understand. You don't have time to eat. Your coffee's always cold and you have no time to eat. But it's really hard because as a breastfeeding mother, you have got to eat. And it's really hard sometimes. But I did eat cereal this morning, mixed with oatmeal. And when I say mixed with oatmeal, it's like I opened the instant oatmeal packet and poured it over my cereal, which sounds really, really gross, but it actually is really good because I like milk in my oatmeal anyways. So, did the dishes, changed the litter box, took the animals out, made coffee, obviously, ate some breakfast, swept up a little bit because there was crumbs on the floor that was driving me insane. What else did I do? Took my big blanket out of the dryer because that needed to be hung up to dry because it's too big to fit in our dryer. And I'm surprised our washing machine washed it. It's like this gigantic comforter that you would think would not fit in a normal size washing machine, but it did. Luckily it did. I didn't have to take it to a laundromat. What else did I do this morning? Got his pediatrician paperwork ready. Yeah, I basically did a lot in the past, like from 8 to 9:30-ish. And why did I do all that? When Jim is clearly has off today and he could have gotten up and done it all, because Jim has to take down the Christmas tree. We were going to keep the Christmas tree up. We put it up December 19th. Yes, it's still up. We are going to keep it up. But honestly, the way my living room is set up right now, I keep running into that tree. And it's just, it's in my way. It's in my way. I don't want it up anymore. And considering I didn't want to put it up in the first place, no offense, Jim, I did not want to put it up in the first place. But it doesn't seem like it's in my way. I'll show you guys here. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's in my way, but it is. So we're going to take down the Christmas tree today. The dogs desperately need a bath. They are way overdue for a bath. They're getting a bath today. The comforter that I had to wash is because there was one spot on the comforter that was like really, really, really dirty from the dogs going outside. And you could tell it's from them sleeping on that one spot. One of our kittens peed on one of the dog blankets that I keep as a dog bed, so I had to wash that this morning. Eventually, I'm going to take a shower. Well, new mommy life. So, postpartum part is that I am beyond over the moon that Trenton is home. And eventually, I will be holding him and putting him, I'm showing you guys, in the vlog. I won't be showing you breastfeeding things just because YouTube, I don't think will allow me to show breastfeeding. There are breastfeeding videos out there on YouTube that are approved by professionals, so you guys can Google those. And plus, it's my own personal body. I don't mind anymore, like, doing a whole breastfeeding in public thing, but on a video for YouTube purposes, I'm not going to do that personally. I'll show you the bottles, but I'm not going to show you like that, because originally I wanted to show, like, give an example of how to pump and stuff, but then I realized there's actual professional videos out there, so I'm not going to do that. Plus, I think YouTube won't like that unless I'm like an authorized lactation consultant or doctor or something. So, and I'm pretty sure most of those videos are cartoon animated. You know what I mean. I know this video is getting to the 30-minute mark, and I apologize. So I'll probably end up just talking today and then starting my weekly vlogs later on today or tomorrow, because I just wanted to come on here and say this is my first video of the year and talk about some things. Yeah. on that note, he has a pediatrician's appointment tomorrow. I probably have said that like in every single freaking vlog at this point. So I will be hopefully filming a little bit of that. I didn't film my doctor's appointments, so most likely I won't film his peds appointment, but I will be talking about his peds appointment. At the hospital. I don't remember if I talked about this in my previous vlog or not, but he did not pass his hearing test before he was discharged. And I freaked out. And the doctor who told me this, I do remember telling you guys this, I think, but the doctor reassured me and she said, that's normal. Don't worry about it. It just means that he has to have extra testing outside of the hospital, because the hospital only has so much testing that they do. It's like standard testing. They don't have like the actual, like, I don't know. So they have to schedule that. Tomorrow when we go to the peds, they will be the ones to say yes or no, he needs a specialist or not. And the hospital, then he will either contact a hospital or he will call somebody. I don't know. Somehow it will get booked. Somehow the hearing will get booked. So tomorrow when I go to the hospital, hopefully we will not have book nurse. If we don't have book nurse, then I can ask whoever the on-call doctor is and ask them if they got their hearing scheduled. They did say for the hearing, they're trying to book it here in Wilmington. If for any reason they can't get him in Wilmington in time, like within the next couple weeks, then we have to go to Chapel Hill, and that's huge and stressful. We will go, but we don't have a car, and we'd have to borrow my mom's car, and when my mom has to figure out how to do my sister's kids with school, and Chapel Hill is like an hour and a half away, one way, and then so you basically take an hour and a half one way. The hearing test, which could take an hour, give or take, and then that's like 4 or 5 hours, and that's stressful. So, because the doctors know that we don't have a working vehicle. They don't know that we don't have a vehicle. They just know that our vehicle broke down for the moment. So, but when she said Chapel Hill, I was like, she said, that's like the last case scenario. We will find somebody here, because there are a couple of people here in Wilmington. So, his eye exam is coming up on the 19th. And this is where book nurse was rude again. And this is where she was rude, but I totally, fully understand where she was coming from, and support what she was saying. It's just the way she was saying it was a little assertive. We'll say assertive. I say rude, but assertive. So his eye appointment's on January 19th. And she's basically saying you have to make that appointment, because if you don't, if for any reason you were late or you skipped that appointment, for any reason, I don't know if like something happens and you can reschedule, but like if you missed the appointment, she didn't say anything about like if you're late. No, she just said if you missed the appointment, I think. No, she did say if you're late. She's like, if you're late or if you missed the appointment for any reason. And I'm like, well, if like, let's say a tire blew on the way and then you're late, as long as you show up, that's fine, right? I mean, some things are out of your circumstances. And then if you miss the appointment, I mean, like, what if like the car broke down and we had to get towed and I had to get it rescheduled? She basically said, if you missed the appointment or if you're late for any reason at all, social services is going to come and take your baby away. Okay, outside factors do happen. Clearly, if anything happened, I would call them immediately and say, hey, look. But she made it sound like if we don't like go to that appointment at that time, for any reason, social services is taking Trenton away. That scared the shit out of me. And I had to keep calm. And she kept repeating it. And my mom knew I was getting triggered because the look on my face. But see, nobody knows about my past with my other kids. So when she kept repeating it, I had to keep my composure. You guys, that was so hard because I've dealt with social services before. And when she kept saying that, I was like, it was so triggering for me. And I almost broke down. And I understand the importance. I understand she had to say it. She had to say it because I know some parents probably forget or whatever. But at the same time, it was so hard. And telling you guys that I'm about to break down because it didn't hit me that she said that. chill right now because I was basically in go mommy mode where I just went. But yeah, because now in my head, it's like I was already terrified of social services before, so they have no reason to come to my, didn't have any reason to come to my life before at all. But long story short, that's pretty much the sum up. I'm trying to calm back down. That's pretty much the sum up of the baby, Trenton coming home, and postpartum. Like I said, this is well into the, almost getting into the 40-minute mark. So this is just, I'm going to keep this as a vlog by itself. And then I'll come back on here either later on today or, yeah, I'll probably end up coming back on here later on today and talking to you guys. If I repeat anything later on today, I apologize. But I just wanted to tell everybody Happy New Year. It's 2023. Hopefully this year is going to be better. If you were like me and you believe in Mercury retrograde at all, I know this has nothing to do with anything, but I just want to put this out there. If you are like me and believe in Mercury retrograde, we are starting off the year with Mercury retrograde. We ended the year with a Mercury retrograde. So this year is not starting off on the best foot with a retrograde. However, I do believe Mercury retrogrades can be positive. They're supposed to be positive. They're not supposed to be negative. But I can tell personally in the air something's shifting, but we'll see. But yeah, I'm still massively overwhelmed with stress about the car. Jim is, and I'm letting him sleep as long as possible. And if you are a mom with a spouse and you are at home, whether you're a stay-at-home mom or you're on maternity leave for any reason and you're not going back to work for a little while, and your spouse works, or your partner, whoever's there works, do you guys let them sleep when you can, or do you wake them up to help out? The only reason why I'm letting them sleep is because then I know I can sleep later on and shower and stuff. Will I nap? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know, because I'm on mommy brain, where even though he has kids and he's a dad and he's a great dad and he knows what he knows his shit, and I trust him with Trenton. Obviously, I trust him with Trenton. I mean, he's his dad, but even I don't know if it's all moms. I really don't know if it's all moms, or no matter who besides you, whoever handles your child, do you get that like paranoid feeling like, no, I'm the only one that can protect them? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It's like I have to let go of the reins, and it's kind of hard because I'm so like, no, it's my job, you know. Oh, yeah, that's another part of postpartum. It's like, it is my duty to make sure that I take care of my child because, well, he's breastfeeding, bottle feeding, and apparently I'm the only one to feed him, which is not true. Which is not true. We have plenty of bottles. We have liquid formula, powder formula that the hospital gave us because he has to have formula, either liquid or powder, twice a day, to help him gain weight. And then I pump. And we have plenty of bottles that the hospital gave us so Jim can feed him, or mom, or anybody in the entire world. Oh, before I go, I wanted to say this. I know I keep saying before I go. There's a lot to talk about. And I could break this up, but while it's on my mind, while I'm awake, before I crash and forget everything because of mommy ADHD brain. So here's an interesting thing. Answer, see if this makes sense. That's what I was trying to say. See if this makes sense to you. Hold on. Not that. Don't explain. So I fully understand that you are not supposed to take a newborn out in public places. I mean, if you have to and you have no choice, you have to. Like if you're a single parent and you have to go to Walgreens, pick up a prescription for you or your child, or anything, then you have to take your child out there. I understand that. Please, what are you doing? Weird. Sorry, he's smelling the baby thing. But it's a big stuffed, this thing right here. It's supposed to be a bathtub thingy. It's cloth, but it's like a waterproof cloth. And since it's soft, I hope he doesn't think it's a stuffed toy that he can eat. But usually when Trenton's out here, I put him on that because it's kind of like a co-sleeper thingy, and that was free. So I've had that for, I think I had that since Cora, actually, and I never got to use it with her. Anyways, moving forward, now we're over the 40-minute mark. Yay, go me for rambling on. Explain this to me. I understand that you were not supposed to take your newborn out in public places. Yes, common sense, because of, diseases, sicknesses, people, whatever. And they're too little to wear a mask. Yes, I do quotes because honestly, but when the nurse was saying, the book nurse was saying, hey, you're going to need help. Get anybody and everybody to help you out. So if I'm not supposed to take him out in public places around a lot of people, I can have 1,000,000 people coming into my home to take care of him when he's a newborn, bringing all their sicknesses into my home where it can be like trapped in my home. So then we all get sick. How does that make sense? Because if he's out, there's fresh air. But if, like, let's say I have 4 people coming over. Okay, when all the triplets come home, let's say I have 4 people coming over. How does that make sense? That I'm bringing people into my home who, I understand that we're going to, like, if they're sick, they're not going to come over. I understand that. And we have giant hand sanitizer bottles that are unopened. That, people know to wash their hands. Obviously, people know to sanitize their hands when they touch a newborn. If you don't, if you go and see anybody's baby, please make sure to wash your hands and sanitize your hands. That's just, I'm putting that out there, okay? If you're gonna, and don't just automatically go and hold a baby. Make sure the parent, one of the parents or both parents wants you to. Don't just go over and pick up the baby. I know that's kind of common sense, but some people, even family members, like grandparents, I'm sorry, grandparents, I love you guys, aunts, uncles, we all know that you guys want to hold the baby right away, but let the parent give you the child. I know all families are different, but let the parent give you permission, because I don't know. I don't care about, like, if my family picks up Trenton. If he's crying and they want to have at it. My mom's been obviously a mom. My sister's obviously a mom. So if, like, anybody picks up my child, go ahead. Now, if my neighbor comes over and picks him up, I do trust her. But at the same time, it's not like I'm going to say, oh, no, if he's crying, don't pick him up. She's an adult. I'm pretty sure she's been around babies. And I say she because Sam, my neighbor, is the closest to me, and she will probably end up coming over to help me at one point if she wants to. I know she said she wants to, but all right. I'm going to stop talking finally. I know, I say this. Thank you for sticking to the end of this video and listening to me ramble on. I hope it was a very informative video. I do apologize for anything that I did not say or did say, or if I sounded spacey or whatever. And like I said, no offense to the book nurse. I know she was just doing her job. She's very old school. She's very, very like this. But she's got to learn that every female is different, and she needs a little more personal care. Just a little bit. But maybe back when she was in training, they didn't do personal care. And if I would, on that note, until later on today, because I'm sure I'm going to record later on today, part 1 of the new year is done.